10 minutes is what is given to me, and thank you so much for that. I think that is more than enough. That generally, we all take payroll sometime for granted, right? We think that, okay, as long as we get paid, the guys are getting paid, we are done with it. But there is a lot that probably we can cover together, and that's where the journey coming in, and maybe the next 7-8 minutes probably I'll talk about that. But before that, everyone wondering that how come a Razorpay into the HR Tech event? Where is the connection of FinTech to the HR Tech, right? So the Razorpay, the way they started off with a FinTech of questioning the status quo, where they created the kind of a payment gateway and the business, which is quite amazing market share that we have today. With the same approach, we questioned the status quo of a payroll, and we realized that what else we can do with the technology as an enabler, and how can we get there. Again, that being the premise, that is how we are started off, and I'm Venkat as a business head for Razorpay Payroll. So today I'm going to talk about certain things which we realized, we discovered, we wanted to share it across to you. So this event is going to be more on that session rather than telling anything about the payroll, because we all know about the payroll, right? I'm not here to tell anything about that. So when we realized that the businesses keep growing and the organization is keep growing, that something was missing out, something was not scaling as it has to be. The payroll is coming along, the HR tech is coming along, but a lot more was expected out of that. So when this came up to the discussion, that we were wondering, when an enterprise is scaling at the global stage or even at a large stage, do they have anything which can support? The payroll typically we consider as a cost center. We don't take the insights from it. There are a lot of insights that can be drawn. So we realized, for an enterprise, how can we position the payroll to them in the best possible way? So we spoke to about 163 odd people, all HR executives. Some of them must be out here in the room as well, but some of them are spread across the country. Interestingly, across those 12 verticals, everyone said, payroll is good. What I have is perfectly fine. There is nothing to change. Is it okay? That's good. So that means it does its purpose, like a switch, the light is burning, which is good. But what's electricity? What is the bill you pay for it? What is that other things that comes along with that? We started asking those questions. There we discovered the majority of the people who agreed their payroll is good started saying that we could go for something better if something is available. This was a discovery by itself, because we were all thinking that the payroll is fantastic. So we straight away jumped in further to understand what exactly the challenges that you see today, which keeps you awake as a CFO, as a CHRO, even at night. It's not the talent is super critical to us. We all talk about employee experience, that being the case theme since morning, but this is something, an area which looks like a black hole. We think it's a financial matter, but it means to a lot to the employee. So what are those challenges that, how many times the employees keep coming back to us in terms of their delays of salary, or talk about the auditing trials, or talk about the other challenges that in terms of the misrecorded information. Finally, the compliance part. When it comes to the compliance, we all think that, okay, there is a fine is coming to me and I'm going to pay the fine. That's the least part of the problem. The biggest impact on a compliance issue is the brand impact, the impact that can actually create. So with that, what we realized that seems to be the biggest problem for all these 163 CHROs or CFOs that we have interviewed with. Then we realized, go deep into that. Let us understand where are those triggers, what are those drivers takes them to. One is the performance drivers, where how can we automate certain things which will create that more efficiency into the system. So focused on few areas that we can look at it. Second is how we can create this technological enabler, because payroll cannot speak by itself. The input has to come from HR, it has to go to the finance, it has to go to the other applications. So certainly the integration to play a vital role, so we consider that as well. The third element is something like the user experience, the employee experience. How many times the employee coming back, knocking your door after the paycheck is done? They have enough and more queries. That query is either addressed by your payroll team or addressed by your external third party, but there are queries. Whether we address or not, there are queries. How much more we can enhance, empower the employees to look at the payroll? So we realize, so these three areas we consider. So with that, we launched something called Payroll Maturity Index. No rocket science, it's all simple, that we asked all these parameters, figured out where the issues are going to be, how the issues are being done by them. So in the process, we realized the entire organization, out of about 1,500 companies have took the assessment that we created, the payroll maturity index. The eye-popping issue is that almost 70% of them are in the early stage or in the emerging stage. What it means to us? That means to some extent they have automated, but majority of them, they are actually relying on manual process. The manual process which is taken for granted today, but if you look at the kind of errors and other challenges that they come across, which is phenomenal. So there is a huge headroom for us using technology. How can we solve this problem to the greater extent? So that is something which we realized that probably as Razorpay that we will be able to provide that support. And that is where our kind of an involvement in this journey with the last 3-4 years to the extent that we have done for that. So realize that only about 30% of the companies are actually in advanced stage and a matured stage. What does it mean? That end to end they have automated to the extent, including the compliance, which means that there is a foolproof happens this entire structure. But there are quite a chunk of companies. So probably you can reflect to your organization, where are we in this maturity index? So of course there is a team available, there is the booth available right here in the back, S2 if I'm right. I think pretty much we can help you to do the assessment, but having said that, what is the insights to us is that these organizations struggle with payroll and they need something which can travel along as they grow into the organization. So that's where our effort comes. So this report is pretty much is available, the team is available, probably we can share that with you. About 26 questions cut across 3-4 buckets, figured out where are you at this point in time, the scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, and figure out where you stand at this point in time. Predominantly say that this is where the issue is that the employee satisfaction or employee issues coming up well. While we all address employee satisfaction, because I need to wear my HR tech as well, because we all say that, okay, employee experience is okay, send them a nice learning there, or give them a recognition and rewards. That's the last thing. First, we need to give them the right experience into the organization in terms of what is he going to get for and how is he going to pay for. So that way, this report has come, gave a lot of insights to the organizations, and a lot of people have gone through that. So assessment is something which we feel we should do this for the company, because there is no benchmark available in the system. When you ask them where do you stand in terms of your payroll scale of 1 to 10, there are no takers. So it is something which we took charge, and we did that for the organization. We figured that out. The report is there, probably we'll share that with you, but the insights is what we wanted to talk today. So if anyone wants to scan, probably you can visit, you can do that. So that is where the enterprise payroll comes in, because there is a huge amount of status quo, probably we need to question. So I met with Mr. Nathan in the outside, and he was asking me, Venkat, what is the difference between a regular payroll and a payroll from Razorpay? I said the regular payroll does A to B completely, like pay processing is done like any other product. But the super critical piece is, how do you disperse the salary to the employee's account? We don't have to take a report and send it to the multiple banks and do that. By click of a button, how we get paid on through GPay or other payment mode, it goes smoothly. Having said that, that alone doesn't stop. The biggest issue with the compliance is entire compliance is fully automated. If you look at this, everything is done with a single click of a button. So the compliance payment goes, it be a PF or ESI or anything that you talk about in Indian regulator, it goes, gets paid, the challans are generated by default, which is not done by anybody. So the payroll has got so much, but we could have done it so much as well. So we realized that end-to-end automation will help us address this particular business in a bigger way. So that is where it gives you the completely automation experience, zero compromise on anything. We can integrate with about 40-odd HR tech products, so not to worry about the integration. Finally, it gives you the on-demand configurability as well. So with that, we just extended one more thing. We have only 33 seconds to talk. There is something called Clinic, where we help our customers to understand where is the issue with their payroll, how can we support, how can we actually help them to find the right solution which will meet into their business needs. So that is something which I want to talk. So with that, we have almost about 10 minutes. We have 10,000 plus customers as well. So definitely, anyone is interested or how we can take it forward, the team is there, I'm here. We can discuss it further as well. Any questions? 10 minutes, 2 minutes?
So a very senior HR leader came to me and said, Bhuwan, I want to do something with AI in HR. That was the brief. He had just come out of a leadership meeting, and the brief from the business leader was, every department is doing something with AI. Why is HR not doing something? Now I think that's a problem, or probably a thought most of you are grappling with. There's so much happening in generative AI. What can we do with it? 52% of the HR leaders are exploring potential use cases and opportunities when it came to generative AI. How many of us are in this camp of 52%? Can I see a show of hands? How many of you are trying to do or thinking of doing something with generative AI? I think we are almost 52%, so it kind of corroborates. But before I delve into what exactly EdMyst is doing, this is a typical talent management process everybody's familiar with. And almost every aspect of talent management process today, AI can help you. Planning, workforce planning. I think everybody is doing a lot of work around skill gap analysis. There's a lot of data in terms of what each individual what each employee in your company needs, what are their aspirations, what are the gaps. Workforce planning, literally AI can automate it for you. Attracting the talent. AI can generate job descriptions for you, can tell you where to put those job descriptions, even scrap the list of candidates from LinkedIn for you. Selecting the talent. And this is where EdMyst is doing a lot of work. Create customized assessments based on the job role. You want technical assessment, plus communication assessment, plus behavioral assessment, plus writing skills assessment, plus want to match the relevant experience, AI can do it for you. Developing talent. I think the buzzword is personalized learning experiences, personalized learning journeys. It's a buzzword, but we all know it matters. It matters to employees. Nobody wants to go through those classroom trainings where everybody feels great on that day and everything is forgotten by Monday. Right? That's what happens, right? Everybody wants a little bit of personalization. AI can actually help you create those personalized learning paths. Retaining your talent. Once you have the skill gap analysis, once you have created the personalized learning experiences, there are a lot of startups who can actually tell you which are the employees who are on the verge of quitting or who are in the phase of silent quitting, based on the task that they're doing, based on the kind of emails they're sending, what time of the day they're sending those emails. So you can be proactively tracking that and retailing your talent. Transitioning, succession planning. I think succession planning is the single most, or probably the single biggest problem HR leaders come to us. I've got the data, what do I do about it? Right? That's again, with so much data, with so much insights, we can actually help you create the actionable plans to help you with your succession plans. But I think problem is not just how do you leverage AI. Problem is deeper. How as HR leaders we are thinking. Traditionally, Josh Bersin article, it says HR thinks as a service delivery organization. We think as centers of excellence. We think in silos. There's a payroll department, there's an L&D department, there's a talent acquisition department, there's an DE&I department. Everybody's working as a separate center of excellence. But the problems are very, very interdependent. Today, a talent acquisition team, when they're looking for talent, they're also worried about skills within the organization. They're also worried about diversity within the organization. They're also worried about the budget within the organization. So with EdMyst, we are increasingly seeing that whenever I'm having a call with the talent acquisition team, the L&D head is also there, or a payroll head is also there. And I think that's how the HR function has to start thinking about problems, not just programs. HR leaders come to me and say, you know, I cannot do this because I haven't got a directive for it. Because when they went and pitched to the business leader or the CEO, unfortunately, they were not able to explain the solution. They were not able to explain the business impact of that. I think we need to start thinking in terms of the solutions. And I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but talent intelligence is probably the single most powerful tool that you can have in your quiver of arrows. So start focusing on talent intelligence. Start focusing on gathering data about your employees, their aspirations, their strengths, their areas of development. And probably the role that HR can play in driving business growth would be far, far higher than where it is today. So these are the AI for talent selection and AI for talent development is two areas where EdMyst is helping organizations today. We can create far more accurate and contextual job descriptions. I asked the talent acquisition teams, you need an assessment, where's the JD? They said, go to the Google and copy paste it. How many times do you actually get JDs from your business leaders? Right? But JDs can actually play a huge amount of role, a big role in selecting the right talent, especially when you're also assessing the talent on the behavioral skills, because your values are different from your competitors' values. The bias can be removed during screening. We were told if a talent acquisition team or a person calls up a candidate and they happen to be from the same region, there's a bias. And he would, irrespective of his or her background, say, okay, let's come for the interview. We are trying to help companies with that. Focus on the right skills for the right role. Even if you're hiring for a technology role, doesn't mean the behavioral skills are same for all. That's why JDs become critical. Assessments have to be customized for each job role. Finally, make data-driven decisions to find the right candidates. Don't just say, I think. I think some panelists also said the same thing. It's my instinct, it's my gut. Go with a data-driven decision. Of course, back it up with your gut, right? And start building skills repository even before they join the organization. Once a person comes into your organization, you should already know the new pool of candidates you've hired. These were the key strengths, these were the key areas of development, and these are the initiatives I'm going to take for the development. So just like talent selection, AI, what we are also helping organizations is with talent development. Run behavioral assessments, run functional and technical skills assessment to understand their gaps, and accordingly create personalized learning paths for them. Once you understand your employees, once you understand their aspirations, map the right resources, map the right coaches based on their individual needs and background. At EdMyst, we have got coaches from across 16+ countries. For every coach that we have, we know what areas they specialize in, what industry do they come from, what area of experience, what sector of experience do they come from. And using this, along with the gaps that you've already identified for your employees, we match the right mentor, we match the right coach for that employee. And start measuring and tracking at both organization and individual level. Don't leave things fuzzy. Again, AI can significantly help you prepare reports in a single click of a button. But having said that, AI is far, far, far from perfect. It still hallucinates. We still have doubts when it comes to decisions made by AI. That's why at EdMyst, we have 3 core pillars. Technology, we are a technology company, but we are a company also backed by behavioral science. We have a team of behavioral scientists with us. Whichever technology product we come out with is validated by our science team. And we have a team of experts who still consult, who still help all our clients, all the HR leaders that we work with. So while yes, we are talking about AI, but I think 2 more pillars, science and experts, we still need them. Thank you so much.
So thank you, everyone, for end of the day listening patiently. So I'm Calvin. I am the Chief Business Officer for Lancesoft. So let's make it a little interactive. Though we have some few slides, maybe I would like to kind of give us a good introduction, give you a good introduction about what we do and how different we are. So Lancesoft is a 22-year-old organization. We are based out of Virginia, the US. A $500 million enterprise. We are a women-owned SMB enterprise, DEI certified enterprise as well. So what I want to kind of do in the next 10 minutes is to let you know how Lancesoft in India and globally has transformed the talent landscape, in the GIC space. And of course, we do a certain bit of work outside of the GICs as well. But for the next 10 minutes, I would like to kind of highlight what we do there. So how many of you know, the exact head count, the IT head count that GICs employ in India? Any guesses? Anybody? We have about 2,000, close to 2,000 captive centers in India. Any guesses? So I think we had about 800,000 or 8 lakhs as of 2017, which has become about 1.3 lakh, 13 lakhs, sorry. 13 lakhs as we speak, which is expected to become about 15 lakhs or 1.5 million latest by end of 2024, right? So today we'll talk about how we have kind of transformed the talent landscape for the captive space. More importantly, because captives in India, or even for that matter, in fact, some of you must have heard that captives hired more than system integrators last year, right? It was there in all the articles. But what I want to kind of let you know is also captives today in India is no longer cost centers. They also have become profit centers, right? So today when I go and talk to a captive leader, he's measured on how much of business he can bring into India and how he can execute them, right? So moving on to the first slide. So this is what and how big we are, I mean, of course, the list of customers is partial, but I want to let you know that we started by giving just-in-time people. We had access to about close to about 2 million database, 2 million IT folks in India, where we kind of constantly evaluated them, understood where they come from, who are in between projects, in between assignments, currently serving notice periods, who are willing to relocate, etc. But what we kind of learned in this journey is when we spoke to a lot of captives in India, we kind of understood and kind of learned from them that how much of their core time is being spent in terms of just evaluating people, right? Even now they have to screen and interview about 8 to 10 people minimum to kind of get a quality talent, right? And that's how Lancesoft started becoming, of course, we are not as big as a system integrator, but I want to kind of let you know that, we offer tremendous flexibility, right? I mean, Lancesoft today is in a very sweet spot where we are kind of filling the vacuum that is being, left by the staffing players and the system integrators in the space in between, right? So what have we done? So today we have partnered with close to 10 large ISVs, be it with SAP or be it with Salesforce, be it with Oracle, be it with APN, Pega, Mendix, you name a lot of these ISVs, we have partnered with them. So today when we go and talk to our customers, we are talking the technical language to understand and see how to win. Somebody was mentioning about skilling and billing, right? So I think what we kind of understand and we kind of do today is, to see how we can kind of become not just a people provider, but a strategic partner. So today we participate in the technical discussions that our customer calls for with their end customers. Yeah, some of the names that you're seeing here are very, very large names. So this kind of, we have kind of evolved from being a staffing player to a strategic, technology partner, right? So having said that, I think it is very, very important for all of us to kind of understand, I'll just take a step back and kind of, answer some of the questions that I've always have heard from the customer. A lot of times, customers ask us, I mean, though you see about only 5,700 as a head count, we would have already onboarded about 1 million people overall in the last 20 years, right? Though, of course, we offer flexibility to convert into the full-time payrolls of our customers. We also kind of have people completing projects and getting rolled off, etc., right? So I think a lot of customers come and ask, why do somebody come and join you, as a contractual workforce, or maybe just for a just-in-time hire, right? So I kind of tell them that, first of all, it serves 3 large purposes. Number one, I think most of the customers do not, especially the 3.0 skills, I think Mr. Srikanth mentioned just before the session, most of the customers do not even know for how long they need this talent for, number one. Second thing, of course, the skill landscapes have become very complex, so none of them really have a clue as to, do I have to really build the practice internally, or should I go to a partner, try and see how technically I can deliver this work, and then maybe absorb them into my full-time payrolls, right? So I think a lot of these answers come through when you work with partners like Lancesoft, right? A lot of times customers also ask, what is your attrition? Because they're going to be working for us on your payroll, and we're worried about the attrition. And I always tell them, my attrition is similar to what your attrition is, because they're working in your premises. They're influenced by your culture, the way that you treat them, right? So I will have anywhere between 2 to 3%, then all the way up to about 20%, because that's how the culture of the end customer also defines our attrition, right? So I think, in the essence, what I want to kind of let you know is, contracting is here to stay, right? And a lot of times our customers have come back and said, today as we speak, we have 20% to be hired only through contractual workforce, 30% through contractual workforce. So all I wanted to kind of put across in this discussion is, of course, we are right. We are there. We have a booth outside, so we'll have to kind of continue the conversation there. But all I want to tell you is that contracting will stay, and partners like us are going to kind of continuously add value to your next wave of growth coming through. Yeah. So I think with that note, I would want to kind of thank you all, and we'll continue the discussion in the booth. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Calvin. Thank you again. Can we have a loudest round of applause for Calvin, everybody?